and we'll be going in without some of our big guns, starting with none other than Jordan De Goey. Jordan De Goey will be ruled out of Collingwood's round 5 match against the Sydney Swans on Friday night as he recovers from right ankle and Achilles inflammation. The midfielder was subbed off in the final term of the side's round 4 match against Carlton after experiencing soreness. De Goey will be assessed leading into the side's round 6 match against Brisbane. Let's start with this because I have so many feelings towards Jordan De Goey and this injury and the timing of it and everything else. So he comes off as a sub in the fourth quarter, and you think, okay, makes sense. It's a fly special. The game's pretty much iced. We're up by nearly 5 goals. The weather conditions is not definitely not supporting a comeback from Carlton's side, and lo and behold, that's exactly how it panned out. It was an absolute dead rubber of a fourth quarter. I nearly fell asleep. Somebody next to me had to nudge me to wake me up. That's what happened. So no one really raised their eyebrows at that sub call. Hey, quiet. Excuse me. She's mad as well. She's not happy. She's a North supporter, but she can feel our pain. So, right ankle and Achilles inflammation. Now, this is quite common after quite a big layoff. Normally, you will feel something blow up a little bit, and obviously, in this case, unfortunately for De Goey, it's come around pretty quickly. I just feel like this guy can't catch a break right now. Is he just not made for it at this point? 29 years old. I think he is 30 or 29 this year. One or the other. I'm concerned. I don't want to fearmonger amongst us because I feel like, and we all feel like he's put in a great body of work in the preseason. He went to Doha. He did his thing there. He said he's come back fitter than ever. He feels like his mechanics, his movements are a lot more smoother, and we're hopefully going to be conducive to seeing an injury-free Jordan De Goey, but it's been anything but since he's come back from Doha. He's nursed that hip and groin, had the knee bruising, was managed through that. We sort of took our time on that side of things, and then comes back for, is this his second game? So he played against Footscray, had the week off, he's come back against Carlton, and yeah, he's just blown up, unfortunately. Look, it's it's there's a little bit of peace of mind in this, knowing that it's not to do with the hip and ankle region, and I don't think he's had any Achilles history. So to me, that points out that he should recover quite well. Usually, when you don't have like when you're not sensitive to a certain area, when you get so many injuries in the same region, you become hypersensitive to that, and you become hyper anxious, and you just feel things a lot earlier because you're very mindful of, oh, how's my hip feeling right now? And then you're touching it, you're feeling it, you're worrying about it, you feel a niggle, and then you just capitulate from there. So I'm hoping the ankle, okay, I'm not too stressed about. That's whatever. That's just conditioning through the joint. Achilles is a little bit more concerning, but at the end of the day, if this is something he doesn't have a great history with, I'm confident that he should return. And I'll just hold my breath on this one. I'm not extremely stressed, but I'm stressed because we're going to miss his game breaking ability. He only had 7 touches in 3 quarters against Carlton, but guess what? Those touches were effective. He kicked 2 goals straight, and each of those goals came in very crucial moments throughout the game and could have changed or did change the way the game ended up panning out. Imagine if it hadn't trended that way, and if he missed one or the other, we're going to have to replace someone for him. And to be brutally honest, they're not going to be able to do the same thing that De Goey provides to Collingwood Football Club. Bunch of stuff happening. De Goey is a big worry. He's been nursed to within an inch of his life. Did the whole Doha thing and still having issues. Hopefully just the load thing as it's unrelated. That's where we're all sort of crossing our fingers right now. We're really just hoping with De Goey, because he hasn't had prior history to the Achilles, as far as we're aware, it can be, hopefully can be a quick turnaround. But it's a look, I always say the preface is he's had a long time out of the game, but still the fact that we were conservative with him all preseason, we didn't start him for opening round, he didn't play round 1, he comes back for Footscray, plays forward most of the game, 50-50 split, and then we have another bye, and then he comes back, and yeah, he just can't hold it right now. But Davey Boy brings up a good point. It's Fly's mantra. The Goey needs to be fit to perform, not fit to play. That is the motto for Fly this year, as Davey Boy has pointed out. So, if the Goey helps us in adding a piece to us getting a Petrarca or Rao, would we pull the trigger? Peter G with the hard crunching questions tonight. If the Goey helps us in adding a piece to us getting a Petrarca or a Rao, would we pull the trigger? So, Matt Rao is a restricted free agent. I think we would definitely consider De Goey a part of that package. It's a premature conversation being in April already, but just knowing De Goey's injury history, I think if they were to lose Matt Rao, they would want players ready to go. Similar to Fly in the offseason last year, they don't want picks. They'll want players who are ready to go. I think De Goey complements Ben King, complements other forwards in there. Jed Walter, who's still yet to prove himself. I think Jordan De Goey, taking off my Collingwood black and white glasses, I think that would be a really handy way to put forward a really good offer to Gold Coast, along with some draft picks. But it's something we just don't have. I mean, we've got McGuan to worry about. We've got Zach McCarthy, who's an NGA at Oakley Chargers, had a best on performance on the weekend. So I don't know. I mean, there's so many factors that have to come into it before we get to that point. I mean, you look at Darcy Cameron. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? He's from Western Australia. There's talks about him there. He'd be on small money, and I'm sure he'd be looking to get a bag. He's 31 this year. So he, while he is in the peak of his career right now, we don't know how long that's going to last. And when you think of it from a financial perspective, you'd think he'd want to get the best offer possible, even if it means he'd have to go back home. I'm not saying that as if it's a bad thing, but you'd be leaving a club that is right up there and is perpetually in contention for the flag. And then you got Bobby Hill. Like, we could lose these players for something. So Darcy Cameron's a non-free agent, so that would force trades. And then Bobby Hill is another non-free agent, so a trade would have to be a facilitator there. So Leper, Shane O'Brien, Fly, the whole recruitment team would have to put it'd be a monster. They have a monster amount of work going into this offseason. There's a lot of players who remain unsigned. There are a lot of players who will be considering retirement. I mean, if we win a flag, right? And then we haven't even spoken about Braden Maynard. So it's one of those ones with Bruzzy. That's compensation there potentially if he leaves. If we win a flag, I don't think Bruzzy would leave. If we don't win a flag and Colin would come to the party and offer 5 years as opposed to the 4 that's on the table right now, I think he'll settle for that. North Melbourne offering 6 at the moment. His brother's there. So there's definitely a lot of picks that could come our way by the time we get to the conversation of the Matt Rows and the Christian Petrarcas of the world. By the way, I'm off Christian Petrarca. I love him. I love his ability. I just don't think one packaging De Goey would be something Melbourne would be looking forward to. I'd definitely put all our eggs in the LDU/Matt Rao basket. So T Mello says Rao is a restricted free agent in 2 years. So right now is a non-free agent, which would force a trade. However, if he was a when he is a restricted free agent, what happens there is Collingwood can offer a contract to Rao. Gold Coast will naturally choose to match it and then force a trade anyways. They're not going to take compensation. They will force a trade because they'd be bullish that they could get 2 or even 3 first-round draft picks. Then we also have Zach Butters, who's in conversation. Man, even just coming back from injury, he just brings so much intensity to Port. And I think Port will get better over the course of the year, despite their slow start. But they already looked better in that second half with Zach Butters fit and firing. So yeah, that's sort of the pick dilemma we have. I think there's a lot of moving parts before we even get there. But to answer your question, I love Jordan De Goey, but I just think if you can get Matt Rao and package De Goey in there, once we sort out some picks with some potential outgoing players, I wouldn't discount it. Yeah, our NGA and father-son should be priority, 100%.